You staying in front two seats, you get a lot more attention. Well. Trying to get up.
Okay, everyone, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to call the January 17th Board of Commissioners meeting to order. We'll start out with the prayer by Commissioner Heberling and the pledge by Commissioner Sarkella.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you, Lord, for each person that is represented here that takes time out of their day to attend our county meetings. We pray, dear Lord, that each commissioner would be guided and directed by you today as we make decisions and we vote on things. And we thank you for a free country, and we thank you we have the opportunity to come and congregate and meet as county officials to guide our county. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Block.
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard.
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberling. District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella.
Here.
District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee. Here. District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart.
Present.
District 7 Commissioner John Moody.
Present. Thank you, Leslie.
Here, look.
At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt today's agenda with the addition of FA 090-22A. It's on the salmon colored sheet that Jody provided.
I'll make that motion.
Support. We have a motion from Commissioner Heberling, support from Commissioner Ballard to adopt the agenda with an amendment. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. At this time, I'll entertain a motion if there are no corrections or deletions to approve the January 3rd meeting minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella. Support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We received your correspondence and email from Jody yesterday. At this time, we'll move into commissioner reports, and we will start with Commissioner Ballard.
On the 5th, I attended the Argyle Township meeting. Not a lot going on there. They had discussion on a road project and also a land split. Tonight I'll be going to Evergreen Township. Last night I was in Lamont Township. They hired a new assessor. I believe he'll start after the next quarter review. They're beginning to purchase on a rotating basis turnout gear for their fire department. Every township I've been in that has a department, that seems to be one of their major expenses is turnout gear. So these guys are going to order 3 to 4 sets a year, and that'll put them with a complete turnaround in 5 to 6 years. And I also mentioned the County Planning Commission survey to them, and I noticed them writing it down. So hopefully they will take that survey. And last night I was at the city of Marlette. They have some issues going on with fire hydrants over there. Apparently there are 9 that are inoperable right now. They're having issues with parts for them. And I guess that's everywhere. So they're going to make that a higher priority. I hope they do. There's one down the street from my house. So I've got too much work into that to watch it go up in smoke. They have the school liaison officer over there. He actually has an office now in each school. And the chief of police, Brian McGinnis, went to Marlette Township and asked them if they would consider supporting that position. And they have agreed to just under $10,000 a year for 3 years to help support that position over there. And they were going to seek out some other support as well. And again, there I also brought up the Planning Commission survey. We actually had Lisa Kenny at that meeting, and she was talking about some of the exact topics that are in that survey as far as housing and green energy. So hopefully people will get on and take those. And that's about it.
Thank you, Roger. Gary?
Tonight we have our planning committee, 4 o'clock, what you and I are part of. Tomorrow is a steering committee meeting, again with Lisa. As you know, we put a steering committee together out of the planning committee. Last week, Custer Township had a meeting that we're still working on their solar ordinance, looking at setbacks. Since the last meeting, I attended a Parks and Recreation meeting, which Roger and I are part of. And next Monday, I'm attending the Sandusky City Council meeting. I do want to put a plug in. I think, Nathan, you're going to bring it up. You brought it up already. The questionnaire that Lisa's put out and the steering committee, we'd really like people to get involved with that because there's more to it, as we taught in our meeting a couple of weeks ago. There's more to it than solar and windmills, and it's big. It's only a part of it. So we want you to take part of it, because in 5 years we don't want people to come back and say we didn't know about it. We wish we could have put something in. And I'll let you talk about that when we get to that part. So, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Bill?
Fort Sanilac took over ownership of the Lighthouse Park. That was the one that came up for sale on the DNR's excess land, and they were able to work out arrangements for them and got it for a really good price. So it will be called officially the Lighthouse Park. And then they're going through an MDOT requirement for a performance resolution there, along with paying their bills and a few other things. Washington Township, they're continuing to pursue their blight complaints, and they've done a couple of actually filing some concerns with their attorney. And then the cemetery that they oversee, they're considering purchasing a columbarium. If you know what that is. Essentially a vault. Fancy name for a vault, but yeah, so I finally had to ask, what is that? So now we all know. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Bill. Christine?
On the 9th, I went to the Brown City council meeting, and they introduced their new police officer. And Brown City School also has an officer in the schools. And the school is paying for while he's working at the school, and then the city picks up the check bill for when he's working for us. So he's a full-time police officer. On the 13th, I went up to Huron County and went to the Council on Aging meeting. They invited me up there. I got to tour the senior citizen up there. This morning, I went to a meeting for the health board, and they were talking about Maple Valley and how they're going to rekey it so not anybody can just get in it. And that's about all they said there. COVID cases are going down, and that whatever that flu that the kids were getting, that
RSV?
yeah, RSV, those cases are going down now too. So, and then I sent a text to all my township, City of Brown City and the Village of Peck, talking about the survey, told them where they could find it on the website, told them to share it with their community. So maybe it will get out there.
Very good. Is that all, Christine?
Yes.
Thank you for your report. I myself attended a Forester Township Board meeting on the 9th. They had discussion about the Jellystone Park, which is one of the larger campgrounds over there, hooking up to the municipal water supply. They appointed 3 new members to their board of review. And if some of the commissioners that were here last year remember, the CYO camp was up for sale. That was sold. And apparently it was a private entity that bought it because they're aiming to split the land. It sounds like they're going to develop it into a couple of home sites. So then on the 10th, I attended a Minden Township Planning Commission meeting. The larger campgrounds over there hooking up.
Sure.
They have a solar development that DT is interested in doing, so they're working on a solar ordinance. There was quite a few people from the community there, and they did engage the board with their ideas and concerns, which was good to see. That's all I have. Evans?
I went to a special election council meeting on the 12th. The first thing they addressed was they're looking to buy the lot next door to the fire station. It's for sale. The person who's selling it's offering it to Lexington First to purchase it, because when the lot comes next to it, I mean, not a lot of chances you have chances to buy the lot next door. So they're investigating that to seeing if it's worth buying and move on from that. And then also they approved the police chief Sheldon's 4-year extension for police chief. He was looking for 6. They gave him 4. In my opinion, I would give him as much as he wants. He's done wonders for that community and that police department. And they also added 2 more months to the interim manager's position contract, so they can now post the manager position online and start that process to fill that position. And for Carlsville Council. That meeting is tonight. It was supposed to be last night, but I think it was postponed for MLK Day. But before Christmas, I was being told by the council, the bridge that's being worked on would be done around Father's Day. But what I'm hearing now is that it might be in March. That's it.
Thank you, Evans. John?
All right, on the third, I went to the Speaker Township meeting. They're still looking for, trying to finish up a grant to get some new SCBA's for their fire department. A lot of discussion that evening about the safety data sheets for the windmills that are proposed there. I did have a little conversation with one of the representatives from Liberty, trying to push to get those a little bit quicker than they're actually getting them, trying to figure out what's going on with them, why they're not giving them the information. And I got a little bit of pushback also, but hopefully they're going to get here soon. With the speaker and Fremont planning meeting, they're both on the same evening. Split my time between both of them. Fremont's working on their zoning, just doing some word changes for their decontamination process if it comes up. That's about it. I have a couple meetings next week, Worth and Fremont and Melvin on February 6th.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for your commissioner reports. At this time, I'll ask Nathan for his administrator report.
Thank you. So last week I took part in the new commissioners tours. I think those went pretty well. The only downside was I think we had a pretty aggressive schedule we had laid out and we just weren't able to cover all the places. We did make it off-site to the off-site facilities, animal control, health department, EOC. When we got back here, we were only able to visit a couple offices. So we had plans to look at a time that might work. Had another, maybe come in before a meeting another day or after a meeting if we didn't have any follow-ups to kind of tour through the rest of the building. Would be good. Last week on Friday, I met with Nick Lesher, our building and grounds director, and Danielle Gilbensky from Animal Control, and we went through the animal control, some of the blueprints for the building, and we're still exploring maybe what we can do to condense that plan down a little bit. Nick is going to reach out to Boom's Construction with some of the ideas that we had, and then once we get something from Booms that they're agreeable, some more maybe architectural plans will come before the Building and Grounds Committee. Have a group of us that'll look at things and see what we think based on where we're at. So,
Do you have an idea of a timeline, Nathan, on when you would be sitting down with Buildings and Grounds to have that discussion?
well, Nick was going to reach out this week to Booms if he could, and it'll depend on their availability. So I don't want to say, I don't know when Booms will be available to kind of go through that, and they've got to also get with their architects. So the hope is that it's something we could be following up with in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I don't want to leave it sit too long. I think it's something that we need to keep moving forward with and see where we're going to land on this. So,
okay.
Another project, Nick's working on the storm trap project with the stuff coming out of the jail into the city system. That's moving forward. The next 2 weeks, Nick's going to be traveling down to actually look at the storm traps. And then once everything's good with them, we're going to, they're going to set up a date when they're going to ship them up. And I think Nick said just before this meeting, they're looking at possibly the end of March. So hopefully we'll be able to eliminate some of that issue that's coming out of the jail into the city system. I had a meeting with a gentleman from Eagle through the state. His name was Steve Noble. There was some information that came out in regards to recycling centers taking in electronics. And then it talked about some grant dollars for that. Currently, our facility does take in some electronics. It's not advertised really heavily, but they will do it. But in talking to him, what he said is there is going to be grant money for it. So he said probably like he's hoping within the next couple of weeks, he would email me with some information. And he said we could also even if we don't regularly collect at the facility, electronics, if we don't have regular hours for those, he said our household hazardous waste event, we could receive potentially some grant money for that if we take in electronics, which we do. So that was promising. The master plan survey is out on the website, as a couple of you have said. I did talk to Eric before the meeting. I would like to get something in the paper, and Gary brought up the idea, I know you did as well, John, about getting something on the radio. So I think the more we can get that out there, the more people that take it. I mean, you hear time and time again where people feel they're not heard. This is a perfect opportunity for the people to be heard in the direction the county needs to move for its residents. So we'll get everything we can do to kind of push forward on that and get that out there. And I appreciate you guys bringing it up when you go to your cities and townships. So it's easy to find for anybody that's here. If you go to the Santa Ana County website, about halfway down, there's a link that says master plan survey. So it's right there on the website. The new auditors have begun their engagement process and plan to get moving on our audit. They want to gather all the necessary documents by March 1st so that they can hit their deadlines. So we've started that process. And I think so far, everything, our back and forth with them has been very positive. So good. Met with a grant assistance manager through MAC. I know it seems like grant stuff comes up, but I know it's a focus that we've talked about. So the Michigan Association of Counties actually has somebody who will assist counties in identifying grants and then potentially some grant writing, which I thought would be a positive because it's at no cost to the county. The biggest issue as we got talking about things that he identified is, he said brick and mortar grants are very hard to come by. He said you're looking at rural development stuff typically for that. Because I told him some of the things that we were working on, and that's when he said finding dollars to build facilities is very tough. But he did mention rural development, which we've talked about in the past, and they do have grants at, loans at low rates. So that's like what the jail went through years ago. So last thing, opioid money, which has been kind of this thing that's been lingering out there for quite a while because Ottawa County contested what they were approved to receive. As of Friday, a judge in Wayne County, he dismissed the case. So the counties will now be looking at receiving the money they should have received quite a long time ago. The earliest payment the county could receive would be January 31st. That would be the next disbursement date. So hopefully we begin potentially receiving some of the money. So that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Nathan?
Just a quick question, Nathan. You and I have talked about road development. Money's coming in about the transportation building. And is that something that road development we want to be looking at once we meet as buildings and grounds or building grounds for the dog kennel possibly, or that
Rural development, it's a possibility. Like I said, I think the first thing we need to identify is when we get the building to a position where we're all comfortable with it, and then we can identify the dollar amount we're at. I think then we can decide what funding streams we need to look at for
it
that.
sounds like grants is not going to be part of brick and mortar for that.
It's going to be really difficult, he said. So.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Nathan? Seeing none, Nathan, thank you for your report. At this time, I'll entertain public comments pertaining to the agenda today. Are there any public comments pertaining to today's agenda? Seeing none, we will move on. There's no 13A, 13B. I see District 5 for the Brownfield redevelopment. Tim Hayden will be appointed. The Council on Aging, we have some members appointed for District 5 as well for partial 3-year terms. And then on the Landfill Operations Recycling Advisory Board, we also have Rick Mitchell, who will be serving a 1-year term representing District 5 as well. Seeing no county commission chair appointments and there are no general resolutions, that will bring us into committee reports, and we will start with Commissioner Moody.
I have none. Haven't had a committee meeting yet. I have 2 next week. So hope to have in that our next meeting.
Very good. Evans?
Same thing. My first committee meeting is tomorrow and next week.
Okay, thank you. I don't believe that I've had many committee meetings so far this year. The county planning commission meeting will be tonight at 4:00. Be attending that. That's all I have. Christine?
I had the one this morning. Still absorbing all the information they threw at me
Okay,
today.
very good. Bill?
Board of Public Works is this afternoon, their structuring committee meeting, and transportation should be tomorrow. And then I agreed to serve again on the MAC, Michigan Association of Counties Ag and Tourism Board, and see where that goes. It kind of fell off the wayside because they had some personnel changes, but they're going to be bringing that back up. And I thought, well, you know, if you look at agriculture and tourism for our area, that's a good thing to at least they meet virtually, so you don't have to go to Lansing to sit in on them. And the idea then would be at least finding funding or, you know, hearing about things that might be available to help our county.
I appreciate you sitting on that extra board, Bill.
That's all I have.
Gary?
I've already covered mine. We have a planning committee meeting tomorrow or tonight, 4:00, and another steering committee meeting. And Scott, did you have anything to add you want to bring up about our meeting tonight? Anything? Scott is our chairman of our planning committee.
Thanks, Gary. Roger?
I attended a community mental health subcommittee. I'm on the program committee. It's pretty much normal reports for them. Will, excuse me, did announce that they received the iPads. They, I think there was 84 that are going out to law enforcement throughout the county, which will be a direct link with them to mental health crisis line in the event that they're out on an accident scene or anything where somebody might be having, you know, some issues dealing, whether it's maybe somebody's spouse had a heart attack and they're just having a hard time coping. And so that was a great gift that they gave. It was over $100,000 that they're passing out. Parks, we had our meeting last 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. We got a lot going on in parks. We have four actually. We're beginning another grant application, 3 that have been approved. Those projects are slowly gaining momentum. We did put the septic hookup with the ARPA funds. We're not going to put that out for bid until probably July. We've run out of time now to guarantee having that complete by the opening of the park. So it's kind of disappointing, but it'll be better for the park. I've spent Friday morning and yesterday morning with our grant writer going through the application for Lexington for a Spark grant. The pedestrian bridge down there that connects the two halves of the park is old and deteriorating. It's not really an ADA accessible feature due to the inclines on either end. So we're going to seek a grant for that, and it will have pathways going to both ends. It'll be 8 feet wide instead of the current 4 feet or less. Part of that grant will be 2 ADA accessible cabins that will overlook the Lake Huron, sit on the bluff there, and they'll have ADA pathways down to them as well. Now, of course, this grant's not guaranteed, but we've been pretty successful, and hopefully that continues. That the bridge alone, we were fortunate. BMJ Engineering has actually done some pedestrian bridges for parks, and they have a couple of designs, and we looked at them, and they're working off of one. Just a guesstimate on the bridge alone right now is $500,000. So the cabins are probably looking at about 45,000 piece. And so we'll just about eat up the potential $1 million that is the limit. But we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for that. The application looks good. I think we'll score well so far. Just waiting for engineers and some other things. And I believe that's it.
Thank you, Roger.
Oh, wait, one more. I did attend last Thursday, soil erosion board, our mandatory quarterly meeting, and really no new business there.
Okay. Good report. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, that concludes committee reports. We have no unfinished business, so we will move into new business. And that will begin with FA 004-23, approval of 2022 current claims.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims for 2022 identified on the accounts payable report of January 10th, 2023 for the general bank account in the amount of $80,037.48.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarcella, support from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 005-23, approval of 2023 current claims.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims for 2023 identified on the accounts payable report dated January 10th, 2023 for the general bank account in the amount of $65,978.94.
Support.
We have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarcella, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 006-23, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments, transfers, and establishes the following account as listed.
Support. Motion from Finance Chairman Sarcella, support from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there discussion?
Yes, just one question, Mr. Chairman. Down about the sixth line, we've got miscellaneous revenue. Does anybody? $1,167,000.
Nathan, is that related to the ARPA usage for bond payoff?
That's what I'm thinking it is. That's why.
I think so, probably.
I don't need to know now. It's just it caught my eye and I wondered what it was.
Yeah, I would hate to misspeak on that. I'm not certain what
Okay.
that is.
Finance Director
She would know. Yeah,
Bender,
That's fine.
not in today, correct?
she is.
She is?
Yep.
Okay.
We can get it later.
Okay, yeah, we can gather that.
Okay. Any further questions related to FA 006-23? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to right on mine. It's FA 007-32, approval of additional general fund bank account checks charged to December 2022.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of additional general fund bank account checks charged to December 2022 as follows. $507,851.53 in ACH payments, $301,506.90 in checks, for a total of $809,358.43.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarcella. Do you support? Support. We have support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Now we will move on to your salmon colored sheet for the add-on item, which is FA 090-22A, authorization to replace hot water tank and softener, Sheriff's Office.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the purchase of 3 Sterling triplex programmable water softeners along with 2 325-gallon storage tanks at a cost not to exceed $101,436.14 with funding of $92,312.50 from ARPA funds and the remainder of $9,123.50 from the commissary fund.
We have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarcella. Is there support?
Support.
We have support from Commissioner Heberlein. A discussion on this topic.
Nate, are you on phone there? Who's installing those?
I think we have Sheriff or Nate on the budget right now. Yep.
You there, Sheriff?
Lieutenant McConaughey's here.
Lieutenant McConaughey, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. This is simply a price adjustment to the equipment that was originally purchased.
Yeah, because of the length of time it took for us to get the materials, obviously there was a price increase. And Lakeshore contacted me about it last night, and obviously it's a pretty hefty increase that he shouldn't have to eat the cost of. So we just wanted to get it over to you guys to get it approved, so that way it doesn't slow the project down any.
Okay.
But it's about 2/3 of the way done at this point. So we're down to getting the softers programmed and then just some finishing touches. So The hot water tanks are in and operational. The big tank's been cut out and removed. So, we're sitting a lot better than we were a year ago at this time.
Okay, excellent. We appreciate you being here to answer a question, Lieutenant McConaughey.
No problem.
Do we want to verify the math?
I didn't know.
No,
It's over. I guess when you add those two numbers up, it's over their budget.
so when you take the 92, 312, 50,
I think it's wrong on the sheet. If you flip the sheet over, it's showing $92,312.64 coming from ARPA with an additional $9,123.50. The sheet indicating 92,312.50 instead of 64.
Yeah.
Take the numbers off. The numbers on the front of the sheet would add up to the total of what it should be.
okay. So 92, 312,
64, yep.
plus the new 91, 23, 50 is 101, 436, 14, which is what's in the motion. So what are we missing here?
50 cents should be 64
64, yep.
on funding from. In,
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
64, 50.
Okay.
Is this gonna be non-profit?
So what we need now is we need a friendly amendment to the motion to adjust the 92, 312.50 to 92, 312.64. Is that correct, Administrator?
Yeah, I think, and when I'm looking at it, it looks like it was just the information just got transferred wrong onto the motion, so.
Okay.
I'll make that friendly motion to adjust the correct amount.
I'll support it.
So I need the motion maker to accept the friendly amendment. Finance Chairman Sarkella, do you accept the friendly amendment to adjust the 92, 312.50 to 92, 312 and 64 cents?
Yes.
So the motion maker accepts the amendment. There's support. Is there any further discussion related to FA 090-22?
Is it gonna be non-profit then?
So this is, it is for immediate approval, but being this is the full BOC making this approval right now, as soon as we make it, it's officially approved. Any further questions related to FA 090-22? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amended motion signal by saying nay.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. At this time, that concludes new business. We will move on to general public comments. Are there any general public comments today? Please state your name for the clerk and then.
I was just going to do that. My name is Dale Linda Hugster. And I am a resident and a delegate for Forster Township. And I became a delegate because Forster Township is an area that is very drug infested. I want to thank our original commissioners because they've really helped me through a lot of devastation over the last couple of years. And I want and ask our new commissioners to learn about the devastation marijuana has caused in Forster. Forster is in the Deckerville school system. Marijuana is the most common drug, and there isn't a family that hasn't been affected. I attended a planning meeting in the village of Deckerville, where the school is located, and became very concerned about the village ordinances to allow the marijuana industry to grow within the village limits. I have a copy of the proposed ordinances for each of you. I'm hoping that you will all investigate and help to stop this act of injustice against our American families. There isn't a family that isn't affected. So I have these, and I just wanted everybody to look into it and see if I can get some more
No. Those are just commissioners.
Thank you.
So Dale, I do have a question for you. I know you reached out to me and you told me you're gonna reach out to Chairman Commissioner Block. This was voted in by the planning committee, if I understand
Yes,
correctly.
I didn't stay for the second meeting. And what was very upsetting was that this wasn't really broadcasted in Deckerville. The people in the village didn't know about the meeting. Kim and I were there, and there were only 5 other people from the community.
But my question then and still now, don't this still have to go before the city council be approved, the planning commission? It's a recommendation more than it is, right? I mean, it still has to be approved, I'm thinking.
I was under the impression that the township board had approved it, but the citizenry of the village was referenduming that decision to put it to a vote of the people.
Well, they did vote on it when we were there, and they said, people didn't vote. But people didn't really, there were a couple of lawyers sitting there, and when the questions that were asked, they just.
I just find it odd that because I attend my township meetings and a planning commissioner committee can bring a recommendation or vote to they can vote yes or no for it, but it still has to go through the township board or through so I'm still thinking there's work got to be done.
Well, I hope so, but as you were telling me, you said that community really does want the marijuana, and we.
Well, there's some people I know they do,
yes.
but I still think that has to go through.
You should be able to go back through the minutes and see if it was approved through their village
Yes.
in their minutes.
Yes, but see, we didn't have any voice in it because the village is separate from Marion Township where she is a delegate. So, we didn't have any right to speak or do anything at that meeting. So, and there was one young couple there who really disapproved, but how much power did they have? One couple. So.
Appreciate you.
And it passed.
Well,
So there were 3 people sitting up there, and they voted, and yes, it was going through. So that's all we know.
Okay.
well, usually you have to post it for so many days that you're going to vote on this ordinance because it changes your makeup and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So where does it get posted? How do you?
they're required to hold a public hearing.
Public hearing, posting it.
So they should still have that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if you want to have a discussion after the meeting, being as it's my district, we can have a discussion and I can talk to them about the procedures that they're following.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Is there any further public comment today?
Chairman, I think Finance Director Christie is here with an answer to Gary's question. Okay.
So that particular item that you asked about, that was a medical care facility line, and they requested their budget to be amended.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate you bringing
It was
it.
just a big number. It kind of caught my eye. So. Yeah.
Any further public comments today? Seeing none, we will move on. There is no need for a closed session today, so there is no need for approval of closed session minutes. I see there's nothing to come before the board yet, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn today's meeting. Report. A motion from Commissioner Ballard, support from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 1:39.